March of 2010, I got hit by a car that was going 74 miles an hour while I was standing. And this happened right at the height of my career. I was at this point a very important person in a very big company, and I was living my life full speed ahead, always barreling, smashing new goals, chasing, 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 thinking, hold on, Jess, just get through this project, just get through this phase, just get through this launch, and then it's going to get easier. Then I got hit by a car. 16 surgeries, multiple bouts of wheelchairs, learning how to walk multiple times. Everything I thought made me strong was gone. And it would be really beautiful if I could tell you that was the moment when I was like, oh, I'm not living right. But it wasn't, because much like every other pattern that happens, I hit rock bottom. I got divorced. I had bankruptcy. I had addiction on top of healing my body. And I put all of those things into this bucket to deal with later. And I tried to heal like a hustler, right? So I did the PT, and every time they said, you won't walk again, I was like, bet. They'll say, you need 8 weeks to recover. And I was like, I bet I'll do it in 6. Because I always needed to be one step ahead. So then I go and I rebuilt the same exact cycle. And I hustled my way to the top. And I fought for every step. And I, again, got the corporate career, the high-level corporate leadership. But this time I said, I'm going to do it right. And you can't see me, but I have my finger pointed like I'm going to do it the right way. And I had an emotional support water bottle, right? I was taking all the supplements. I was telling myself I was going to work out. I was going to care about myself this time. But I was still so very disconnected that I remember sitting in the basement with my husband, and I was just like collapsed because I hated everything. I hated my life. I hated myself. I hated everything that I had built, and I was miserable. I was snapping at my family, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was 350 pounds. I was in constant pain from the accident and the things I hadn't dealt with, and I didn't know how to see what I even wanted outside of it all. So that moment where I was sitting in the cold basement floor, completely broken, and I looked at my husband and I said, you might not love me for this, but I can't keep doing this.
It's like the light bulb went off.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what comes next, but everything felt so heavy. And he was like, I don't know what comes next, but it's going to be fine. Because I had burdened myself. Perfectionism, being a high achiever, ambitious, always being the one to solve it. Like, I call it like my toxic helper healer.
Mhm.
Anytime there was something, I was like, yeah, I can help you. And it was often coming at the expense of what I needed, because so many of us do this.
Yes.
First thing we do is start offloading the things that make us feel good, because it's somebody else needs us more. So I was sitting in that moment completely vulnerable, totally broken, miserable, pain, taking like painkillers every day. And the first thing I did was I started researching weight loss surgery and looking at options. And I need help. I just need a lot of help. I need a lot of help. But in that moment, I was like, Jess, you should be able to do this if you just stick with it. And I had to have like that moment with self where I was like, well, Jess, if that was going to work, don't you think it would have worked by now? It was that mirror moment where I'd been hustling, proving my worth since I was 4. There's a moment in my backstory where I learned that if I wasn't perfect, I got other people hurt. I saw myself as having to be perfect and polished all the time, the best in the room.
That's heavy for an adult to process.
I didn't even know that was the seed until very recently, because healing is this way. This actually dropped into me in the last year, doing the dishes, and I'm holding a spoon, and all of a sudden you time travel. I remembered this night where I had left spoons outside because I was like in the best racetrack under a willow tree. It was time to come in for dinner, and I forgot the spoons. I remembered that night so vividly in this moment in my kitchen. My mom was like, where are my damn spoons? And I was terrified because I didn't want to get in trouble. I said, I don't know. Without missing a beat, my dad picks up a paddle and he takes my brother to the back room. And my brother got punished for my mistake that night. I realized it's because I was so hard-headed. They know that to get to me, they had to go through him because I would protect him, but not myself. In that, when that memory kind of popped through for this, it was like the stacking of everything. When I came back to my current 41-year-old body. I was like, holy shit, like everything makes so much sense now as to why no matter how much I pushed, it was never enough. Very root cause of it, it was Jess has to be perfect or she's not enough or she's not loved and other people get hurt. And so asking for help, even in that moment 3 years ago at my basement with my husband, felt like you should be able to carry this. And that was actually just the beginning. It was just the beginning of actual life. Everything up until that point was like lessons, initiation. It was just the beginning of starting to unwind those lessons.
That's what the healing journey is all about. We have these moments of, wait a second, I finally get what this lesson is teaching me. We learn the lesson finally, and once we learn that lesson, we let it go.
I was a person who was going to shove it into the later box for a long time. A box got heavy, so now we're unpacking it. As a chronically busy person, it was always, I don't have time to deal with this right now, so I'll just take it, move past it, solve it, go. I never stopped to look. I never sat with it. I never felt it.
You just said the keywords. You never felt it. We go through these lessons and we're like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me? What is this showing me? What is this teaching me? But we never sit there and say, what am I feeling? How am I reacting? How am I responding?
I was always in solve it, fix it mode. Solve it, fix it, have a backup plan so that the plan goes according to plan. I call it the bullshit rule book. I got so disconnected from my mind and my body were on totally different wavelengths because the severe physical trauma, I didn't have time to feel that pain. I had to get back in the office. I remember right after the accident, I was in my mom's basement and I had braces on my shoulders, arms, legs, like everything was broken. My mom got me a shower and my thought was, cool, now I can go to work. We fought about it because she wouldn't put me in the car. I was in a wheelchair. I could not drive. I couldn't move myself. I was dressed. Therefore, she could transport me to the office. In that moment, stillness felt like failure. And the fact that I wasn't producing made me feel I wasn't worthy. My nervous system didn't know how to accept the support my life depended on because I could only hear, go to the office, go to work. The team needs you. Life literally was like, yo, you got hit by a car. And I was like, I can out-effort this. I can out-effort this massive injury. I never actually processed, holy shit, I just got hit by a car. I was so wired for perfection, production, achievement. Stillness felt like failing. It felt guilty, and it felt like I shouldn't need anybody. That pattern's so deep.
So what were the steps that you took yourself to get you out of that pattern? Your nervous system was saying, like, I can't hold anymore. You literally had to rebuild yourself from the inside out through nervous system work. And that inner work, a lot of people are afraid of it.
Yeah.
That's why they're hustling instead. So what were those steps as that, chronic hustler?
The very first thing is understanding how patterns work. I signed up for a bunch of education where I was like, I don't know what I need, but I need some help. The first thing is recognizing that the pattern exists because our nervous system is designed for two things: keep us safe and to regulate up and down based on stimulus. The human body is the most miraculous and kind of dumb thing in the world. All it does is repeat. I had built a cycle that if I'm not hustling, if I don't have enough chaos, then I don't feel like I'm actually at my baseline. I had trained my body to believe that if I don't have chaos 10 out of 10, then it's not worth doing yet. Let's take a real life example. I would paint my kitchen the night before a big project. I would call this productive procrastination. I would have enough chaos to go tackle the thing that I needed to do. When I became aware of that being a cycle, the medicine was choosing the exact opposite thing. When I realized this chaos cycle was my own creation, I removed myself from this is just the way I am rhetoric. I allowed myself to go, it can be different. Step one is knowing it doesn't have to be like this. Step two is really looking at my patterns with no judgment. Just from a science
Mm-hmm.
perspective, place of curiosity, gather data. And then third, choosing the opposite thing. So when I wanted to stall, I'd be like, that's what you've always done, and you don't want to live that way anymore. So let's try the exact opposite. I retrained my nervous system to hold a different pattern as truth by training the opposite in my mind and body.
That's just, it makes such complete sense. Because we all self-sabotage. We all live within our patterns and don't even realize that we're living a pattern because we're just on autopilot.
You think that you're choosing different. In the moment, you think this time is the way it's going to be different until something goes, you've done this like 10 times now.
Yeah.
My cycle had to be big and dramatic. I had to completely crash my life twice, full on rock bottom, 2 different times before it was like, you like literally went to the highest of the highs to the lowest of the lows and then back again. This emotional whiplash, if I had allowed myself to feel anything, I would have noticed. We all think this time is different.
I'm going to get there. It's going to be different. I'm dialed in. I'm focused. I'm committed. We tell ourselves all of these things, but our actions aren't aligning with what we're telling ourselves or what we're telling others.
We got to get it out of our brain and into our body. The brain is the liar face here. The brain is the liar face here. So my brain was still holding this pillar of truth so deep that I didn't even know it was my truth with little baby Jess holding a spoon way back under the willow tree. I spent the next 40 years of my life trying to outrun that lie until I learned how you can back into it. And I call it the bullshit rule book. At the deep core of everything, like, and I use the rooted why technique, which is like, why did this trigger me? Where did I hear that? When was the first time I saw that? It like traces you back to the earliest point that you can remember. The earliest point that I could remember at first, I was 16. I cast as a 16-year-old and I rewrote the stories and I could put on my non-partial glasses and go, Jess, is that really true? Like, if your best friend, handed you a piece of paper that said that, would you believe it? The answer to that was no. And I got to write a way better story. And so then I started training that as my truth. Every time that pattern would come up, I interrupted it. Reframe. No, liar face. That's not the story anymore. What happened is I processed that and I opened up a little bit. Next time I did that rooted why technique, the memory was earlier. I was an 8-year-old. Same exercise. Why is it? Who told you that? Whose story are you living? Is it really true? And it wasn't.
It's calling out the bullshit. Because that's what they are. Stories we're creating. And we just need to rewrite it.
That's the magic, right? The reinforcement, because our bodies are pattern machines. So they need this new story to be way more familiar than the old one.
It's taking those baby steps in that rewiring, that instead of beating yourself up that you didn't even work out on the first day that you said this, it's like, hey, well, I didn't do a workout, but I went for a walk instead.
I was like toxically dedicated to the change. I'd be like, I am going to get healthy. I'm going to work out 7 days a week. I'm going to strip my house of all the things I enjoy. I'm going to cook every meal and I'm going to meal prep and it's going to be fantastic. And that lasted for like 3 days because my nervous system's going, who in the hell are you? What are we doing? Now I train people on 4-day wave where it's like we introduce our nervous system to that big effort over time. By the time you get to the peak, it knows what the hell is happening. And it's like, yeah, we could do this. You put everything you've got into the gym. Leave shaky, you're sore. The next day you're sore. You're like, that was real rough, and fizzle out because we tried to 180 our life overnight. Identity work doesn't happen that way. We need to prove to ourselves that we're this person. We're the person who feels strong and healthy, feels the best in their body, who prioritizes that time. And it's not about this massive amount of effort every time. It's about, I prioritized my movement today and I feel like such a fucking badass because I did that.
Yeah, it's celebrating that little moment, and we start celebrating those little moments. We start stacking them. We stack our wins and getting dopamine hits off of our wins.
as high achievers, we just keep moving the bar. We forget to slow down and look. What did I do that I can celebrate? Wow, I moved my body 6 days this week. I did the walk. I showed up. I did stretching. I did things that make me feel really good. Hold on to that and then expand that space. Before you know it, you don't have to look so hard because it became a habit. When we forget to celebrate those, you lose track of all the good things you're doing.
It's taking that time at the end of the day, celebrate that small little win. And even if it's just like patting yourself on the back and saying, like, good job today.
Yeah. I always go, good job, buddy.
It's like, oh, wait, you actually did that. I'm proud of
Good
you.
job.
At the end of the week, looking at everything that you've done throughout the week and going, oh, I killed it this week.
Yes. Knowing you're worthy of praise and you're worthy of being celebrated. And I just want to like sit with that because that was a hard lesson for me to learn. Receiving compliments. Yes, you can be amazing at what you do. You're here to be amazing at what you do.
Grab the dry erase marker right on your bathroom mirror. Hello, gorgeous. Good morning, sexy. You are amazing. I am fucking hot, hotter than hell. Whatever it is, because where's the first place we all go in the morning? The bathroom. That starts to set the foundation for your day.
I always love those affirmations and those mantras. Mine for a long time, I am worthy. Because I thought I wasn't. I thought I had to earn it. I thought I had to prove it. But as you're doing something in your physical body, repeating that over, it introduces the concept of flow state, where flow state is a moment in your brain space where your inner critic, that inner mean girl, turns off. You lose track of time and you're kind of just moving with stuff and you're like, oh, this feels really great. Your body is also really open to changing its program in flow state. If you're repeating that mantra you set your foundation on, your inner mean girl is learning a new language so she can become your inner BFF. For me, it was I am worthy until all of a sudden I was like, man, I'm so worthy. I was like, okay, we need a new mantra. Yeah. Then it was I am enough.
Yeah. And if you're someone like myself who, like, you're sitting there going, affirmations never worked for me. They don't resonate with me because, yeah, for the longest time, affirmations didn't resonate with me because I wasn't seeing those results of those affirmations that I was saying. So what I did was I flipped the script.
I realized today that for a long time I wanted to be ready, but I wasn't ready. And what I mean by that is my brain was like, I want to be different. I want something to change. But my identity was still straddling worlds because there was the part of me that was ready to take the step and move different and believe I was worthy. And there was still a leg in the old world going, but I'm not leaving this one till you prove it to me. And I feel like that's the same as this affirmation game. And I realized we don't talk about this moment where you want to be ready, but you're not. Because you're still tied to the person that got you where you're at. Like Jess hustled and like Jess was a badass. Not even gonna lie. Like she did a lot of great things. Jessica. We'll call her because Jess, like prior Jess. I love her. I respect her. She was so strong and she couldn't take me where I was going.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
Yeah. And so for a long time, I started playing this game where it was like, wouldn't it be cool if? Because the first thing, your body has to believe the affirmation or it's not going to work. It's going to feel like bullshit. And if you're going into the affirmation going, these don't work, it's not going to work. Right?
Exactly. If you're sitting there saying, I am a millionaire, I am a millionaire, yet your bank account is currently negative $200.
Right. Then like opens the question, wouldn't it be cool if I was a millionaire? Because that's more acceptable to your body at the base level. It's that curiosity. Wouldn't it be cool if I was a millionaire? Then you can start to play a game. What would I spend my money on? What would I do? What we're doing is cultivating a sense of safety within the nervous system to that exposure. It's like exposure therapy. Like when you're actually ready, it's not a sexy moment. It's like it's that dull moment where you're like, okay, I am done with this shit. It was my basement moment where I was done. And up until that point, I would have told you I was ready. Even after that process, as recently as in the last 6 months, there was something that I wanted to be ready on, but I wasn't ready. And that was to see baby Jess with the spoons. I wanted to, but I wasn't ready yet because I was still holding a core truth without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Without, so when you talk about affirmations and mantras, they're wildly powerful if you believe that you can be the person that you're talking about. If you're ready to be that person.
If it feels heavy, it's not for you, or you're not ready. If it feels light and expansive, it's okay. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, I call that the sweet spot, right? Because that's what we do when we're manifesting. Like, truthfully, Jess of the past would have been like, nah, boo. And I sit here now, it's like, find the sweet spot. I always tell people, use your voice. So writing it on a piece of paper is fantastic, but if you can't say it out loud, it's probably something you need to dig into. Because there is so much power to using your voice, even alone. And if you're looking at a piece of paper and you can't say the words, ask yourself, what's there? What's there to unpack?
I'm going to even add to that is if you can say it out loud, how are you saying it? What's the tone that you're using? How are you projecting it? Are you sitting there going,
right,
I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire.
Or is
I'm
it like,
a millionaire. Like, I'm a motherfucking millionaire.
Yeah, like say it with your chest.
Yeah, it's like there's the energy that's behind it that, comes into play as well. Yep.
I would set these big, expansive goals. And every time I read them, my body would restrict. My chest would get tight. And I didn't believe I could be a person who held that vision. This is where I talk about the sweet spot. Imagine this big, juicy stretch, and then somebody unrelated comes and slams your head down and makes you stretch way too far. It's painful. Your body's going to hesitate.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, we went too far here. When I talk about manifesting and making that vision and that goal, your nervous system also has to be ready to hold it. And so it's about finding the stretch where it's that, ooh, so juicy, hurts so good kind of moment, but not so far that it makes your body panic. And what I didn't realize at the time is I have huge visions. Like, no, I'm here to make a massive impact, but my body for a long time was like, what are you going to have to sacrifice to do that? Because all I had known up until this point was sheer will, effort, and determination.
Yeah. The bigger the vision, the more you have to let go of.
Right. And so what I didn't realize until getting into this work was then you get support. Then you get to expand. Then it gets to be easy. And the be easy part was like, how is that possible? Like, how could it possibly be easy when I've fought for everything my entire life?
Yeah. And that's because when you fought for everything your life, ease just doesn't feel right. It's allowing yourself to sit there and go, if she can have it, why can't I?
Yeah. And it's like, there must be something. And so then I started expanding the vision a little bit by little bit. And I would look for things that felt a little bit easy. And I'd be like, oh, wait, look how easy that is. So it's a game I played, actually. It was a game I played all day, every day. So, like, if I was like, oh, I need a pen, and there was a pen right here on my desk, I'd be like, look how easy that was.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about. It's playing that game with yourself, with the universe, because it makes it light, expansive, playful, as opposed to being heavy and dense. Don't start out lifting weights by starting to do, curls with, 50-pound weights.
Yeah.
You might start with a 5-pound weight to do your curls and work your way up to the 50s.
Exactly. It's that sweet spot. So find what feels juicy. It feels a little bit like, I don't know. But it doesn't feel impossible. Because if it feels impossible, that's where your body's going to be like negative.
It's getting comfortable, but not too comfortable, with the uncomfortable.
Right. But not painful. It should be uncomfortable or you're not growing, right? If you're stagnant and you're just sitting there, and you're thinking about doing something different, you're like, but I really like being comfortable because we're humans, right? Our bodies love comfort. If like my favorite place,
I like to call it the comfort zone dance. You take those 2 steps out and then 1 step back.
exactly. And you're just basically building a stack of proof that you are the person that you say you are. Every time you repeat the thing, every time you take the step out, and you're like, look, I posted the story and I didn't die. I asked for help and they said yes.
Relationship, it went across the country, or I left the relationship and I went to another country on the other side. I didn't die. I came back and I saw them and I didn't die.
I said no, and I didn't die. I didn't apologize. I didn't die. It's all of those. I held the boundary. I didn't die. It's all of those little things every day. You're so powerful. We just got to contain that energy and everything feels possible.
Absolutely. So, what is that one uncomfortable truth that you want people to face before they can stop chasing the enough and actually allow themselves to step forward to begin that healing process?
The only thing that is standing between the life that you have right now and the life that you see on your vision board or in your dreams, the life that you're living now is you're allowing it to be that way. And so it's you. And in that you, there's a lot of armor that's been placed on over time to protect yourself from something you're afraid of. For me, it was of not being enough. And so I was always trying to prove that I was. And inside that armor, where it gets vulnerable and soft, is the hardest part of healing, is allowing yourself to take off that armor and go, "Ooh, this is me. This is really me. No mask, no armor, nothing." And if you're willing to find a space where you can let that out and unbury the truth that you've buried under the armor, that's when you feel enough. That's when you start to get, oh, okay, actually, I was always enough. I just didn't feel safe showing that part of my personality because I thought it would get judged. Or I didn't feel safe holding that boundary because I thought maybe they wouldn't love me as much if I didn't do these things. Or I didn't feel safe, fill in the blank. And so instead we armor up our needs and we bury those things below the surface because we think, and we've been trained to believe, that you have to do it all. And it's just simply not the truth. And the only thing that's stopping you from seeing that is your own willingness to see it.
Yeah. It's like when people ask me what's standing in your way, what's the problem? And like me, myself, and
I am a person who believes everyone needs a coach, a mentor. I am a person, my superpower is seeing that exact pattern in people. It's what my corporate career was. Like, I can go, oh, the process is right here. This is where our work is in this little string.
Mm-hmm.
And I also didn't know how to turn that on self, right? I have a superpower of seeing it in others, but turning it on self was hard. It's still hard.
It is for all of us. Our greatest strength for others is our greatest weakness for ourselves.
Exactly. And I got really scared that if I grew into a different person, everyone around me would go away. And you know what happened? A lot of them did. And it needed to happen that way. But I was really scared that my husband wouldn't grow with me. And so I hesitated for a long time to talk about this stuff. But you know what happened is when I healed, he started healing too. When I addressed these things, he did too. And that's what happened in the people in my life was I had two groups of people, the ones that rose with me.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the same journey. We were on the same evolution. We were on the same growth journey. And then the ones that didn't, they went away.
Yeah.
Then, what happened was the most beautiful thing. New people came in, new support communities, new friends, new people with like that matched the energy that I was working with now. And I was like, oh, this feels so expansive in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. It's letting those people go. It's hard, especially when they're people that have been in your life for years or sometimes even decades. But I also like to look at it as expressing the gratitude for that individual and everything that you've shared together, but you're letting them go in a way that is nourishing for yourself. And if they love you, are truly meant to be a part of your life, they will rise and re-enter. People come into your life for a reason, a season, or life. Everyone's there for a reason.
And some of those people get us through something.
Exactly. They show up when we need them to teach us something or to show us something. So, Jess, what is one key takeaway you want the audience to leave with today?
The biggest lesson is that your nervous system can be expanded. Your vision can be expanded. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens with little consistent actions that are repeated over and over until your body believes it. And that's it, because your body is a pattern machine. And if you want to move a certain way, it starts by moving a certain way over and over and over again until you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's been the secret to everything. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens by building that stack of proof that you're the person who you say you are. And you get to choose. You get to choose what that story is.